Hey, beautiful people, I'm coming on here to share a message with you. It is a space that I don't quite often visit because of how I feel about public speaking over social media or just public speaking in general. But I do believe the message that I want to share to you today is just that important, and it speaks on just a recent encounter that I had on one of my walks. I actually wanted to do this because what is so disheartening to me is, hold on one second as I cross the road, safety first. What matters so much to me is the connection and the bridge between men and women in our community. What's disheartening is when I see us going back and forth in conflict with one another, trying to outspeak the other when it comes to each other's struggle, as if one person's is worse than the other, and that creates division. And so while everybody's feelings are valid, no one is being heard because they're so focused on what they feel, what they're saying. And this divide has been going on for such a long time. So I had this recent encounter, and it made me think that perhaps giving more insight from a woman's perspective will bridge that gap, will help us show up better for one another. Okay? And so without further ado, what ended up happening a couple days ago, I went on for a walk. I was coming back from my walk, and there was a guy who was walking in front of me. He was probably like 20 paces in front of me with his dogs, little puppies, and I was just amazed how they were following him without leashes. And they were, like I said, they were pups. So that was like interesting to me to see how he was able to train them in such a way that although there was distractions, the pups were stimulated, he still managed to keep them close without leashes. And as I was admiring that and kind of observing that, this stranger male was driving by. He stopped and said, "Hey." Now, me personally, I have a issue with the greeting "hey," because I feel like it's dismissive, it's disrespectful, especially when you are using it as a greeting to a woman who you are perhaps trying to catcall, whatever. Hi, how are you? And so I heard it, and I had my earphones in my ear. Now, I do that typically. Most times I'm listening to something, but a lot of times I'm not, for that very reason. I think that in those moments, to help protect the ego of these men, I use them instead of blatantly seeming that I'm ignoring them, which I am. I have the earphones in as if I'm listening to something and I can't hear them. It works, guys. It's magic. But anyway, so I act like I didn't hear him. When he said "hey," the guy turned around. He realized he wasn't talking to him, which I had already knew, and I kept walking. Now, I want to know the thoughts of a man when you hear a stranger that is a male say "hey." What are the first thoughts that come to mind? Share your feedback. This is very important, because I guarantee that experience for a woman is drastically different from yours. For me, as a woman of petite stature, I was like very on guard, very cautious, and somewhat defensive because of you just don't know the type of person that is trying to engage you, and it's just it makes you very defensive. So I say this to say, because I don't know if it is evident that as women, when we're by ourselves, we're often in a stance of defense, trying to ensure our safety. And I don't know if that is a shared experience for men. I do understand to a certain degree, but when you are a woman walking by yourself, it's more so your common stance until you get to a place of comfort and seemingly protection, a seemingly place of comfort and protection. Okay, so I do want to hear my feedback from my men. Also for my women, if you do share that sentiment when you're walking by yourself, please let's kind of bridge the gap. Let's kind of understand each other's experience so that we can better show up for one another. I look forward to hearing from you all.